It's okay.
Yeah, I'm very sort of conscious. I have this booming voice. So consider Steve Happening, I think was the name, asked us how to I love that to open the windows and take a run around the school building, and consider how outdoor education can be integrated into the hospital service, which I thought was an interesting thing. And I suppose certainly in Ireland, I can't speak for other countries, but given the shortage of age-appropriate psychiatric hospital places, I think anything which makes it, gives us a different way of working with young people, treating young people like that, I think we should certainly embrace. Also that concept of mental well-being, John Kelly asked us to consider the impact of adventure experience can have in terms of promoting resilience. And interestingly, as his research indicated that the significantly increased resilience scores by males but not by females. And I think in terms of for people who are implementing outdoor adventure experience, maybe he asked us to consider about the communication. And I suppose is outdoor adventure therapy, and is that sort of very male dominated, and think about the language that we use there. So I thought it was particularly significant around there. Also about sort of another interesting study called Relator session also reported on another empirical study, and he asked about the OSST, the outdoor social skills training. And I like that one in particular because it's talking about sort of combining outdoor with the enhancement of social capital. Because I think, as I said, like we need to sort of one goes hand in hand with the other like that. That was a quite small study, and Rowena Passey's paper, massive thing, sort of 60 schools, sort of large scale quantitative research. And I think you're often looking particularly for funding and to make the case for outdoor learning, outdoor education and stuff like that. So I think any sort of large scale study such as that then has the potential then to sort of make the case for the importance in adopting a whole school approach. Speaking of sort of most welcome there, as I said that, so I think I would most welcome. One phrase that caught me, John Kay's question, he asked to consider what would non-humans want. I thought that was lovely. He's talking about sort of moving away from just a student or a teacher-centred pedagogy to a wild pedagogy. So I thought, sometimes you read something and you're going to go, oh my God, that's certainly asking us to consider. We have andragogy and pedagogy, and now we're going to have wild pedagogy. So I thought that was an interesting place. So where did these wild pedagogies take place? The Rowena Hook's paper asked about sort of the connecting people from minority groups to urban forests, because I think, as I said, like, we need to, I think in any community, we need to be careful of not ending up being a sort of echo chamber, where we all talk to each other and we all agree. You're great. Oh no, you're great. What you're doing is wonderful and brilliant. And we want to deal with those people. Are those people here? No, they're not. So I think they can say, like, I like the idea of sort of recruiting and involving volunteers from communities, whether, as I said, whether it's like community health initiatives for people who are from minority groups, or in this case here, promoting people to get involved in the outdoor education. For the people who, as I said, like I've said before, monsters here, but sort of, I think it's there, sort of laughingly, the healthy handfuls and wearing all the gear. But if you're talking about reaching out to people, you have to speak their language and get connected to them. So I like that particular piece there. This idea of involved minority groups echoed in Mary Claire Murphy's. Also, the talk about DESH schools, which are sort of a designation of disadvantage, and sort of connecting into urban forest schools like that. So I think they're particularly important for children who have those limited opportunities, because often, like, if it's a DESH school, it often goes hand in hand with other indicators of deprivation there like that. And the thing which caught my eye there was only 1 in 6 think it's safe to be outdoors, to break away from we'll say Xboxes. I don't know, I'm probably showing my age, it's probably something different now like that. But as I said, like, encouraging people to think it's about safe, and Jill Hildeman and Andy Hardy's talking about this idea of safe spaces, which I think is a really interesting concept there. As I said, because for some people it's very inevitable to be out, so they need to create a safe space. I think it's a good idea. Jakob Freeman's thing with Iceland really surprised me there, because I kind of had this idea that everybody in Iceland is out there and being very healthy and doing all that stuff there. And yet, which is sort of 30% of kids were doing less than 30 minutes activity a day. So I was kind of thinking, so that sort of that burst my bubble about Iceland. So I don't know if that's good or bad. But I was very impressed. I did live up the stereotypes, I suppose. I loved the Icelandic jumpers that the ladies are wearing yesterday. So I thought that's no point coming there. So from the jumpers to donkeys, Roger Cullen. Where do you get that? Anyway, I expect to see some good experiential learning. Donkeys, I didn't get that at all. No joke around pets, like that. You need a hook, don't you, for people that are just working the time here at 6:25 and doing okay. But as I said, like that idea of animal therapies on donkeys. I got kicked in the stomach when I was about 9 or 10 by a donkey on the beach, so I found that really upsetting reading that thing there. Huh? You were on the video yesterday. Oh. Heather Prince and Chloe Brennan talking about, and I suppose an issue now which has certainly come to the fore in terms of identity, and I suppose going back to this idea that it's a heavily gendered space, which traditionally it has been, and I think it certainly asked us to consider this idea of trans and non-binary people there, like that. So particularly in a space which would be considered to be such a gendered place there. So I thought that was, as I said, that's certainly another thing which needs to be looked at, and although there was an unpublished dissertation, so we should be certainly getting that out. Other challenges here, I'm really getting Andreas Carlson and Eric Bachman. Oh, that was actually very straightforward, I like that. Once again, sort of Nordic stereotypes there, as I said, but even Sweden can it's been problematic about achieving the EOE goals, and I thought once again there was another bubble burst for me. So no, but joking aside, I said I think it's important to kind of at conferences to lay bare the issues, good and bad, and how we can learn from them. Mark Leather, putting the torch of knowledge into the hands of Rick Bonners. Once again, I was going to look for stuff which catches my eye there like that. So as I said, any guy who could refer to Samuel Taylor Coleridge and mountaineering and stuff in the one term, that was particularly interesting here. We're really getting the time here now, so we're going to just have so many to go through, but I think, you know what, just to say, and apologies to the people who haven't had the time to get to, certainly a very eclectic, and I mean that in the best way. I've really been impressed that people are genuinely sharing their experience in good and bad and trying to learn from it, and as I said, I think it's well done to Tomas and Dave and all the crew. Well done, everybody. Cheers, thanks.